Kelly with nonprofitmarketingguide.com, and I'm here with Derek Hurwitch, the Senior Director of Marketing and Communications with Jewish Family Service. Hey, Derek.
Thank you.
You were just telling me a great story. You got a challenge from your board that a lot of nonprofit communications and fundraising directors get, which is to find some younger donors for your organization. Tell me how you did that.
Well, one of the big challenges out there is obviously philanthropists are kind of aging out, and how do you engage that middle generation, your late millennials, your 30s to 50s, your Gen X, your Gen Ys. So they wanted us to go after age 30 to 50 and really go after them as the group that's kind of diminishing. People who are maybe getting away from their parents' legacies of leaving gifts, people who are starting to kind of disappear off the nonprofit radar. And when they said nonprofit engagement and going after younger donors, I kind of took it to a literal level. So I designed my target audience around the ages of 8 to 15 and really came to the conclusion that when we started doing a focus group in terms of what was really successful and who are the most successful celebrities, what are the most successful products out there, you know, we were thinking of names like Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, and we came to this professional for-profit concept of if you can engage a child, you can engage their parents, just by the fact that they have to have a vested interest in what their kids are interested in. If a child gets a concert ticket to go see their favorite celebrity, you know, Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber, the parents are going to go too. So we created a junior board, and essentially it was a lot of people who have their kids have bar mitzvahs, communions, Spanish families doing quinces, everything around that. A lot of parents are encouraging their children to do something in a nonprofit nature with some of the money they receive for those occasions. Whether it's a couple $100s, a couple $1,000, they want some of the money, they want to teach their kids good values and have them do good with some of the money. Well, rather than getting one child to give 200, one child to give 50, one child to give 20, one child to give more, we brought all of them together and formed it what we call a junior board. And essentially they came together with their collective pools of money and organized as a board would, making decisions about what to do with the available funds. And collectively, obviously they'd be able to do more and make a greater impact with more money. So as a junior board, they had two commitment requirements. One was that they would make a gift to the agency. Two, that they would go through the different programs of the agency one after another, get exposure, understand what we do as an agency, and then after they've gone through the process of gathering information, they'd be able to come together and ultimately decide where they wanted their money to go and how they could best use it. Well, when it came down to it, everyone was really fascinated and a little bit shocked why we were going after 8 to 15-year-olds until we set up those information gathering tours. It's probably not a surprise that the 8 to 15-year-olds were having issues getting to our location and touring our programs. They don't drive, obviously, but what they do is bring their parents. So by getting them to take tours of the agency, to have decisions about the agency, to talk about our agency, and get more exposed to our agency, their parents had to drive them. Their parents had to ask them questions like, what are you doing today? Why do you want to go to Jewish Family Service? Why do you want, you know, what do you mean you're on a junior board? What is a junior board? What are you doing with your money? So by facilitating an information gathering process with children, we essentially are doing the same thing with their parents, the 30s to 50s, who are just as engaged now because they're almost motivated and passionate because their children are becoming philanthropists, de facto philanthropists, instead of just someone who wants to give a little bit of their birthday money. Just as everybody wants to make a difference, people want to give their money to specific things. The kids really fell in love with certain programs at the agency. 8 to 15-year-old kids really started to congregate around the idea that they could help people their own age who might be experiencing similar issues they are, but at a more profound level. By doing this, we got the parents involved. They were touring the agency in the same fashion, they were going and seeing the programs, but more or less they were falling in love with the fact that their kids were becoming philanthropists, and it almost garnished them and turned them into philanthropists and got them more engaged. So what we learned, and obviously it's not the only way to do it, but we learned that sometimes the best way to engage the 30s to 50s is engage them around what they're most interested in, which is their children. And that's kind of how it all started. We ended up getting a younger demographic, literally, and by doing that we were able to get the older demographic because their number one concern is their children, and their number one interests are their children's interests. And we found a way to get them to kind of aggregate and become one and the same. Everyone became interested, and it all started with just getting a couple children with some different pools of money together, and we ended up with a junior board.
That's a great story, Derek. Where can we find out more about it? Is there anything on your website we can find?
It's not on our website just because it's not, a formal board. It doesn't have its own legal proprietary things as you'd have with a traditional board of directors. What you can find is obviously you can go to Jewish Family Service. There's 150 of them in the country. So you can learn more about the different programs we have by going to the various websites. But in terms of developing the junior board, really we're hoping to put an article out at the Association of Jewish Family Children Service Agencies National Conference, and we're titling it the Justin Bieber Effect: how to get parents involved through their children's causes and through their children's interests.
All right, well let me know when it's out and we'll link to it from Nonprofit Marketing Guide.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Derek.